Can you tell us how you celebrate your birthday?
So I have an award ceremony. It's based on the BAFTAs, but it's called the CAFTAs. There's a red carpet, it's a ticketed event, and I do speeches, and there's a proper award presentation and everyone gets an award. There's a fantastic book by Professor Amy C. Edmondson on psychological safety, and she talks about the highest performing teams have the highest percentage of psychological safety within the workplace.
Welcome to Click, Cry, Repeat. This is not another marketing podcast. It's a podcast about the people doing marketing jobs. I'm Peter Craven.
And I'm Ashley Watson. Think of this as your monthly virtual therapy couch. We're going to talk about the wins, the woes, and the why the hell did I do that moments. Today's guest is Catherine Rooney.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, it's good to see you here. Thanks very much for coming along. Hope you're comfortable on our set.
Very comfortable. Yeah, this is a great setup.
It is a great setup. Actually, we must give a shout out to Macaulay Furnishings and Newtonards.
Newtonards and Bangor. They've shops in both, but they very kindly have set us up with this, with your therapy couch, and got some nice props here on the shelves in the background, and yeah, it's nice and comfy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, Catherine, we'd like to start just some quick fire questions just to kind of get to know you a little bit, okay? So you're at a karaoke bar.
Yeah.
What is your go-to song?
It's Biggie Smalls' Juicy, and I actually done this at a work Christmas dinner a few years ago, and I now no longer can sing it because I have the fear. But it's my go-to karaoke song, yeah.
Very good. Tell us about, I noticed on your profile you said you were a foodie among other things, so tell us about one meal that feels like home.
Oh, that feels like home? That's an interesting one, because the food I like is so not like Irish food. Like, I'm into spicy food, like jollof rice, Mexican food. If I was to answer your question correctly, what is like home, I'm going to say cabbage, mashed potato and bacon and cheese sauce. My mum used to make it all the time and I would hate whenever I smelt it when I come home from school. So that would remind me of home. But my favourite food is definitely Mexican. Okay. Big into my Mexican food.
Very good.
What is the most annoying habit a person can have?
Oh. God, there's a couple. Yeah, interrupting you whenever you're like mid-flow speaking and then they interrupt you. Or this one's probably quite niche, but whenever someone chews really loudly, it grinds my gears. But there actually is a name for that. It's like misophobia or something like that. So it's not my fault that it angers me.
Yeah. And this one is a bit of a cheeky one, but it's based on the conversation we had in preparation for this. Can you tell us how you celebrate your birthday?
So I have an award ceremony. It's based on the BAFTAs, but it's called the CAFTAs, and that sounds very narcissistic, but it's actually the opposite. So I bring everyone together, my friends and family, and like there's a red carpet, it's a ticketed event, and I do speeches, and there's a proper award presentation and everyone gets an award. But I view it more as like a celebration of my friends and family, whereas your birthday is more about, you know, you treat it as, oh, it's my birthday, come and celebrate me. But I kind of flip the switch on that and make it like a celebration for my friends and family. And they're all really nice awards, but there's a lot of slagging in there too. So it's it's a great night, and it's black tie. You can't get in if you're not dressed to the nines.
Where does this happen?
In my living room.
And is there an after party?
Oh yeah, there is an after party, so everyone has to leave. And then we have, what would you call it? Someone that takes the tickets, so you get a wristband with your CAFTA and you can't get into the rave after if you don't have your wristband on with your CAFTA. So take it very seriously. There's smoke machines, strobe lights, you know, wouldn't have to tell them a marketer with
Very good.
creative ideas.
Event planning to the next
level. Is there a
level.
wee bit of deflection going on from, you know, it's my birthday, but I'm going to make sure the attention's on everybody else rather than myself?
You know, you would think that, but I host it. I have to stand up and do the speeches and gather everyone together. So Probably a little bit, yeah. But
It's a really nice idea, actually, that you're
it's class.
celebrating friends and family as part of the birthday. Yeah.
And my birthday's in January as well, so I hate asking people to come out and,
so's mine,
you know, let's go and like
What date in
spend your
January?
money. The 22nd.
It's 21st.
No way.
Yeah, there you go.
He's going to be joined half the gaffers.
Paftas.
Doesn't seem
That
right to it.
sounds quite right.
No, it doesn't.
I learned more about that person in the lobby, in the walk to the interview room. They were, it's like night and day, because I welcomed them. I made them feel relaxed. We were walking, you know, so we weren't sitting staring at them. They weren't feeling, you know, oh, what if I say the wrong thing? They were just being really, really relaxed and nice. And I got to understand their personality. You have to be really confident and stable in what it is you want to achieve from the baseline. And then you build upon that with whatever it is, your new ideas, your new messaging, your new pathways.
Okay, right. Moving on then into the conversation. We had a chat last week, Catherine, a bit before this, and you know, April Dunford came up.
Yes.
And we talked about that obviously awesome sort of book. So can you tell us what it was that drew you to that in the first place, and why you liked that book so much?
So I actually met April online. So this is during COVID, and obviously you got these opportunities to meet people that you never normally would have in day-to-day life. But I think Gareth, the founder of where I work at the moment, he was on some sort of course or something, and there was availability to get mentored by certain people, and it so happens that April Dunford was one of those.
Yeah, and she's big into SaaS products and stuff, isn't it? That's her
Yeah,
main thing,
like
isn't it?
she's amazing. I felt very starstruck listening to her, but she spoke a lot about building the foundations of your team and your product right first, because you need to have those stable, because then if you keep building your team and building your features in your product and making it bigger and better and wilder, if you don't have those sturdy foundations, then it's not going to go too far. And it's getting to really understand your customers, but also your people and your team, and where do they believe in your brand? Do you even know what your brand means? Are you infiltrating that through your team? And then are the salespeople infiltrating that out to market that they're talking to? Same with messaging. And she really made that a prominent thing for me, that you have to be really confident and stable in what it is you want to achieve from the baseline. And then you build upon that with whatever it is, your new ideas, your new messaging, your new pathways.
And did that sort of happen around the same time then as you were making the transition from the role with Macklin Group to the software role?
Yeah.
So the timing then lined
So it was
up.
very timely for me.
Okay,
Yeah. So it was a brand new market. You know, I'd never worked in SaaS before. And even the industry at the time, it was manufacturing. Didn't really have much experience in that. So I was spending a lot of my spare time researching and trying to understand their customers and being able to speak their language and understanding their pain points. And so you can put that out with your messaging.
Yeah, she did I saw her speak at SaaStock in
Oh, yes,
Dublin
I've heard of that. I haven't been.
a few years ago. It was actually Alistair Cameron that got us the tickets when we were on the Ulsterbank Accelerator. And I went down with a customer of ours, Rich Dale from Flowlens, who has a CRM ERP system for small manufacturing
Yes, we've done a webinar
businesses.
with him before, yeah.
So we
It's
went
good.
down with him and saw April speak in one of the marketing theatres, and I mean, you could have heard a pin drop for the half an hour, 45 minutes. It was one of those ones, you know, when you leave an event and you think, I'm buying that book.
Yeah.
So I bought, obviously awesome, and then she released the sales pitch one
Haven't read that
a year
one.
or so later, and that was really, really good. It was almost like a natural follow-up, because she took people through that. Once you've done all that, you know, establishing what your product does, who it does it for, and why it matters, then it's, you know, how you present that to people. And I actually used it to completely change how we pitched to clients, in terms of how we presented understanding the problem, identifying the solution, and why, you know, our solution was the right one for them ultimately, you know. And it all just makes sense and it flows. And it's one of the, you know, people are standing talking to you and you're thinking, that's so clever, but it's also just really obvious.
Yeah, a lot of things like that are. I think she has a really good way of saying those obvious things, but in a really smart, and you know, it doesn't make you feel stupid for not knowing it, even though it is quite obvious. She's got such a nice way of relaying information. We actually probably embarrassed ourselves a wee bit at the end. her book, obviously awesome. We photoshopped it to obviously awesome. Like, we were like, ha, this is so good. And she was like, nice. Regrets with that one, but I'm sure she remembers us.
I'm sure she does.
One of the things that you spoke about there, Catherine, was about training and development and learning. So what do you think is the most valuable skill that you have learnt to date?
Do you know, I wouldn't even think it's a marketing skill. I think it's more of an interpersonal skill. And being able to work with people and work with diverse teams and being able to say, okay, well, you think X and you think Y, but I think Z. So can you talk me around your thought process and how you got there? Because that might help me develop a new way of thinking that I don't know. And being able to challenge people's opinions and ideas, but also welcoming those challenging opinions and ideas to the stuff that I put forward too, and not taking it in a, it's personal to me. Oh, they don't think I'm good enough type thing. It's okay. That's actually quite good feedback. How am I going to take that and develop it and kind of sharpen my own skill set? But you can do that with anything in life. But I think to have a successful career, you need to have a good team, and to have a good team, you need to have good people, but also the people in the team need to work together cohesively and have those interpersonal skills to be able to achieve success. So I think the best skill that I've learned is being able to work with good people and come up with smart ideas to solutions, but also challenge those ideas and solutions so we can get the best outcome.
I think that's really important. I think, in marketing, you'll always hear people will bandy about, marketing is data driven. And they'll say it and they'll think, I've done my monthly report and I've looked at my stats and my figures, but are you actually looking and going, has this worked?
Yeah.
What can I learn from this? Can I do something different? Should I speak to somebody else and hear what their idea is? So it's actually really refreshing to hear. You said it's not a marketing skill, but actually I think it is. I think it's probably one of the most important skills in marketing.
Yeah. No, I do. I think there's a temptation for marketers, myself included, in the early parts of your career, because there's so many metrics you can present, aren't there? So, there's a temptation to stand up and go for the ones that paint you in the best light.
The vanity metrics,
right?
Yes. We've all been guilty of
nobody
those.
ever has less followers, right? Unless you do something really bad and you lose a load. But that number never goes down. I think as you get more miles on the clock, you sort of realise that in order to progress to those really senior opportunities, they want you to report on the exceptions, rather than here's the stuff that's going really, really well. Yeah. It's like, that's not what we're concerned about. That's not what everybody else in that boardroom is talking about. Everybody else in that boardroom is talking about that stuff that's going really well. We'll just carry on with that. This is the 20% of the stuff here that isn't, or these are the threats coming down the line that we need to be focusing on. What are we doing about this now to make sure that it doesn't impact us? And I think marketing, we talked about it yesterday, marketing has been very bad at marketing. Mm-hmm. And that's our job, really, is to be that your customer's voice inside the organisation, I suppose, isn't it?
Totally. And that's interesting you're saying about, the people in the boardroom or the big room, they're talking about, right, this is what's potentially going to go wrong here. But I think it's really important to have that mindset outside of the leadership team too. And I think it's important that obviously the leader has to kind of lead with that outlook that, okay, we need to figure out what's going wrong. Anything that fails, what can we learn from that? What can we change? But it's also those, I call them, like the little silent champions within your work that are challenging people's ideas and that have it's like they don't have the fear of other people's opinions, of admitting that they're wrong. And then other people can say that, they said that they haven't quite got that task. They want a little bit more training on that. No one laughed at them. No one said, aren't they stupid? Actually, it's quite admirable putting your hand up and saying, I need a little bit of extra help on this. And I think that's really important for successful teams, because there's a fantastic book by Professor Amy C. Edmondson on psychological safety. And she talks about the highest performing teams have the highest percentage of psychological safety within the workplace. Now, she knows this because she's done so many research papers on it. I actually think she might have coined the term psychological safety. But in all of the workplaces that she surveyed, it was those that had the ability to put their hand up and say, I think your idea might be wrong. Let's look at a different solution. Or I spent a lot of money on this campaign and it didn't work, but here's what we learned. Or, you know, I actually don't know how to do this.
Yeah. Having that sort of psychological safety part of the thing is about having the right culture in a place, isn't it? Yeah. And it leads us quite nicely on to a recruitment thing, I suppose, because in order to hire well, you have to hire people that are on board with the sort of values and make sure they align with the organisation and stuff. And hiring's really hard. Because you can get some people who interview badly and turn out to be the greatest employee you've ever had, and some people who interview really well and you're thinking, have I hired their evil twin?
Yes.
So what one thing would you do in that recruitment process to try and get really under the skin of the person it was that you were trying to hire?
So it's hard to pick one. I'll go back firstly to the days when I worked in HR. So I've interviewed hundreds, maybe even thousands, I don't know, a lot of people in my time. And we always had our interviews in a hotel. And the interview room was generally downstairs. So there was a little bit to travel from the lobby, and I would always greet them in the lobby. And when I tell you, I learned more about that person in the lobby, in the walk to the interview room. It's like night and day, because I welcomed them. I made them feel relaxed. We were walking, you know, so we weren't sitting staring at them. They weren't feeling, you know, oh, what if I say the wrong thing? They were just being really, really relaxed and nice. And I got to understand their personality in that, like, maybe 60, 90 seconds walking to the room. And then when they sat down in the big scary boardroom with the people in the suits and everyone's looking at them, then they kind of lost their personality a little bit. And I didn't quite like that. I think that even for myself, you would get the best out of me in understanding my personality, going for a walk with me outside, somewhere that isn't in a really, you know, corporate environment, because that can put people off to who they actually are. And of course you need people who are confident in those environments, you know, that's a different thing. But if you're wanting to understand their actual personality and let them fully be themselves, taking them out of that structured environment really helps. Actually, this is a technique that Gareth uses. I'm sure he won't mind me saying. He sometimes brings out Lego.
Okay.
And says, right, build me a Lego model of how you think this job's going to be. But I also think, this will be my last one, you also find out how people really are in difficult situations. So maybe go for a coffee and then tell the server, bring them down the wrong one, and see how they act. Are they angry? Or do they not have a problem saying, oh, I'm really sorry, that's not what I ordered, and they deliver it with kindness. So they're not going to have
really
problem, you know, bringing up difficult situations, and they do it eloquently in a really nice manner.
Because I reckon the vast majority of people would just say nothing.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, do you want someone to say nothing?
I think I'd probably say nothing.
Oh no, I'm fussy.
that
I would
situation.
say that's not what I ordered.
Yeah.
I would be nice about it. I hope I would be nice about it. But yeah, no, I would say, yeah.
Well, one of the things my daughter was, we did this interviews with my team, and Lucy's on the crew here today, but she won't mind me saying this. Whenever we asked this question for team videos we did, one of her pet peeves, one of the things that annoyed her most, was people who are unnecessarily rude to waiters and waitresses.
Yes.
So, you know, so I think when you put somebody in a situation like that, you get a sense for what kind of person they are. Mine would be either take them for a drive during rush hour.
Oh, yes.
Or go through security with them at an airport and see if they put the tray back.
That is a good one. Or the trolley. Yeah. That is a good one, yeah.
So that you now know whether you want to spend any time with this person ever again.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
But it's those little cues and those little things. I always remember at university, we had this great lecturer, Robert, and one of the first things he told us, he was like, no matter where you go, because it was like a hospitality degree, he was like, anywhere you go, if you see rubbish on the ground, pick it up.
Yeah.
If you're in a hotel lobby and you see, pick it up, because you never know who's watching. If you're going for an interview and you see rubbish lying around, pick it up. And, you know, it's not just the housekeeper's job, it's not just the garbage man's job.
That's run through. I've seen that. When I got my first graduate marketing job, it was with Armatile, and Seamus McCann, who used to run the place, you had everybody drilled. You know, if you walk past anything in the car park when you're coming in the morning, or see anything in the showrooms, it is your job.
Yeah.
You know, pick it up. And I'll give a shout out to one of our customers. We were down on a shoot with Malahan last week, and they have things in all their meeting rooms that says, you know, the standard you walk past is the standard you expect. You know,
That's very good.
That's very good.
and then it's
Yes.
like, well, that you know, and that's just, and you can see from the culture of the place that's paid attention to. You go into every meeting room. We do it when we go to shoots. You know, leave no trace after you've left. Clear up after yourself. Put everything back where it was. Make it presentable for the next person who comes into the room. And it's just a culture thing about that, isn't there? Yeah. We're getting signals here from the crew that we need to move on.
Gratitude is probably the most important thing over resilience, and I think it's important to have gratitude for those people that give the bad feedback and those trolls, because they've made me more resilient. One of my friends had passed away and I was up visiting his grave, and the idea just popped into my head. It was like, right, if you could go back and like tell your younger self and like go back and maybe tell Ryan these things and stuff, then what would you say? And they all just completely flowed out. I wrote it in, honestly, about 45 minutes. When I was growing up, I was always looking for someone like me that was really relatable to be okay with saying these things that have went wrong.
We'll go back to the conversation. I wouldn't mind actually going down the blog route, Catherine. So can you tell us, you blog outside of your job, so can you talk to us about how that came about and why you did it and what the experience has been like?
Yeah, I think there's a few reasons. One of them, the initial one, was I would obviously write lots of blogs for my full-time job. And then you would submit them, and articles and press releases and stuff, and you would submit it, and then the newspaper would publish it, written by whoever the publisher was. And I'd be like, he didn't write that, I wrote that. And I was like, well, you know, I'm good at writing, so I want to start writing. And it was actually, I had, one of my friends had passed away, and I was up visiting his grave, and the idea just popped into my head. It was like, right, if you could go back and like tell your younger self and like go back and maybe tell Ryan these things and stuff, then what would you say? And they all just completely flowed out. I wrote it in, honestly, about 45 minutes, published it, and then within the next few days that was UTV picking it up, Belfast Live picking it up, and it was on the Frank Mitchell show talking about it, and it was about 5 things you would go back and tell your younger self. And it's obviously, I think that kind of, those topics are really close to my heart, because when I was growing up, I was always looking for someone like me that was really relatable to be okay with saying these things that have went wrong. And if I could go back, I would do this, and like talking about life experience and just stuff that was relatable. And I was like, I can do it. I've got the skills to write. I'm just going to start firing them out, and everybody was loving them, and it went really well.
Can you still do that then?
I still do it, not as often, but I still do it on my Instagram. So I didn't want to go on any more viral because of trolls, basically, which is very unfortunate. I think now I would probably be a bit more resilient to deal with it, but back then, like that was maybe 5 years ago, I just couldn't. I was like, no, I'm trying to do a good thing here. I don't want
particularly
to
when
feel
it's
bad.
something that's obviously so personal to you because of a friend that you lost was the reason why you did this.
Yeah.
And then to suddenly have this success where it's picked up and people have obviously liked it, and then you the experience of that is that people put you off doing more of it because of their comments on social media and stuff. That must be hard to take, that sort of thing when it happens.
It wasn't nice. But then looking back, I think it has actually given me more resilience. I would have been very, very sensitive. So if someone had to give me some negative feedback, I probably would have cried. Like maybe me, 10 years ago, I was so sensitive. And now I'm very resilient. I believe in don't shoot the messenger. And I know that's a saying that's thrown about, but a lot of the time, now this is aside from the trolls, like say even in work, someone gives you negative feedback, you can think, oh, they're just saying like they don't like me. But it's like, actually, that's a little bit of a gift that they're giving you, because you can't see your weak spots. You can't see, areas that you're maybe not as strong in. Other people can see that and take that as a little gift that you can maybe, internalize and polish yourself to be a little bit better. In terms of the trolls, maybe it was a gift for me to kind of not harden up, but realise that, okay, well, if they're doing that, like how sad must they be to sit behind a keyboard and try and bring someone down for trying to help the world, basically.
Good, yeah, trying to do something good, yeah.
I think that's a very mature place that you're in now to have that resilience, and that's not easy. And working in marketing, you do feel that you have to be perfect
Yes.
all the time. You have to present yourself as being perfect, and the work that you put out has to be perfect. And it is easy to take it personally.
Yeah. But again, yes, you have to look good and you have to, put out stuff that looks good, and marketing is about perfectionism, as you say, but it's almost like science too. It's experimenting what's going to work. It's about getting the feedback that maybe isn't that great, that hurts your feelings a little bit. It's getting those unsubscribes in your email newsletter that hurts still to this day. I'm like, why? But, then you're shaving off people from your CRM that you're paying money for each spot on that too. So yeah, that's good that you're letting me know that you don't want to buy our product. Yeah, it hurts, but thanks. So it's reframing your mindset on getting those not so nice messages and that not negative feedback, but challenging feedback. And I think it's so important to build your resilience, because in life and in work, you're going to come across a lot of not very happy people. And you don't want it affecting your happiness internally, which can easily happen. So resilience is very important to me, yeah.
Okay. I suppose we're really keen to know what else is really important to you as to what's in this pink box.
Yeah, I think it's about time we've did the what's in the box. Yeah, so if you could tell us what you brought along.
I put a box inside the box, so hopefully it's not stuck. So I have brought...
Professionally presented.
Well, I wasn't sure if I had to bring a box or not. It's stuck.
Oh, these the cactus.
2 caftas. Right. Now,
Very
one
good.
for each of you. And also a little caftas message from me. So the whole... That's yours.
Thank you.
It's just a thank you message from me for having me on.
Oh
But
my goodness, stop!
just to say that the whole...
There's something in your eye.
The whole premise behind the caftas is to show gratitude and give back to my friends and family that support me when I fail and when things don't go so well. They're the ones that are there, cheering me up and making me feel good about myself. So gratitude is probably the most important thing over resilience. And I think it's important to have gratitude for those people that give the bad feedback and those trolls, because they've made me more resilient. And for you guys for inviting me on the podcast too, because it meant a lot to me.
Oh, thank you so much. I am actually getting emotional. I said somebody's going to make me cry, and
That's really nice.
it's really, really nice. Thank you.
Quite unexpected.
Thank you.
Very, very nice. All the same. No, it's lovely. I love the trophies too. They're fabulous.
And they will be on the shelf.
They will definitely be on the shelf. Future episodes will have
Yes,
the caftas
we'll have
on
the
the shelf.
caftas.
I think it's the only award I've ever won.
It's the only award I've ever won as well. It's the most important one. Thank you.
Exactly.
Catherine. Thank you.
That's a
Highly
good,
sought after.
sure it is. That
Wow.
seems like a good place to round us up for
Yeah.
this episode. Yeah. So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
thanks very much for coming along, Catherine, and we'll see everybody next time.